Welcome back to Bon Voyage with your girl Alicia. We are heading on another adventure. This week we are in Atlanta with Shanita from A Black Girl's Guide to Atlanta, aka She from Atlanta. I'm so glad to have her on this episode to tell y'all what to do, to tell y'all where to go, and how to navigate Atlanta when y'all come and visit this city that everybody loves so much. So
Mhm.
I'll let you introduce yourself.
So, hi, y'all. Excited to be on this evening. So, my name is Shanita, and I'm the founder of Black Girls Guide to Atlanta. It's a platform that was created to help transplants and tourists experience Atlanta like a local. Also, Black Girls Guide to Atlanta has a special mission to spotlight women owned and Black owned businesses. So, that's really what you're going to see on my page.
Yes, and I'm so glad you used the word transplants. I feel like people don't know what that word is anymore because I'd be like, I'm a transplant. Like people are transplants, and they be like, "What? I never heard that before. I never." I'd be like, "That's what it is when you literally do not live somewhere and you move." Like,
And make it your home. So that's when you leave one place, move to another, and you make that your new home.
I'd be
You
like,
are
I
transplant.
confused. So you was born and raised in Atlanta, though, right?
Yes, born and raised in
What side
Atlanta.
was you born on? They left.
I, I was born Southwest Atlanta,
Okay,
South Atlanta proper, 30331 Atlanta.
okay, girl. Yes. It's really cool though that you like embrace the tourism and the travelers like that because a lot of people don't like the locals and stuff like that. Like they don't really embrace them or they move out because it's like, oh, it's getting more expensive because when people move down here, you know how the stuff goes up. So it's really cool that you still have the platform and that you're using it to embrace like the transplants and the people who are just traveling for the weekend and stuff like that. So that's really, really cool.
No, thank you, thank you. And I think it's important. One reason why I wanted to start this page is because I was seeing a lot of influencers and bloggers. They talked about Atlanta, but everything was always go to Buckhead or go to the north side or, go to Brookhaven. And I'm like, as someone who's from Atlanta, I'm not going there every Friday. You know what I mean? So there are just some places that were always popping up, certain restaurants and such. And I'm like, someone who is from here on a Friday night, they may go to, their favorite Mexican restaurant, they may go to their favorite wing spot, they may find somewhere with a patio, it's not always going to be in just one area. And also people from Atlanta, I mean, they embrace, the eateries on the south side and the east side and OTP. And so I thought it was important to give that authentic perspective.
Okay, because don't be like, I'm already be like, that is not Atlanta. She came
Very
hard.
controversial, very controversial,
Okay,
right?
that is not Atlanta, period. So when did you start Black Girls Guide to Atlanta?
I started Black Girls Got to Atlanta October 2020.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk to you offline because my girl is growing quickly. I literally moved here like mid July, like end of July 2020. That's
Oh,
crazy.
wow. Yeah, it was October 2020, and it was started because of a transplant. I was encouraged by a transplant, a coworker who was from Virginia, who was basically one day during our break, she was like, "Oh, it's nothing to do in Atlanta." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's nothing to do in Atlanta?" And I'm like, "How long have you been here?" She's been here 4 years, and that was pre-pandemic. And
Mm.
so she hadn't been anywhere. She hadn't been to any of the food halls. She hadn't been out to brunch, parks, festival, nothing. So I'm like, well,
I'll be trying and I still can't
right.
do it, but I came post pandemic. Well, not post because we still in the pandemic. So I came highlight of the start of pandemic, but I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I just see clubs, restaurants, bars, everything's overhyped, overpriced. But I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna let you say and tell people like where they should go, like what's the best spots that they should go to, and like how they could plan a great trip to Atlanta.
You know what? I always say that number one, and this was actually the first post on my page, I said Atlanta starts with its history. And so whenever you come to Atlanta, I think you have to, the best way to do the city justice, you have to start in the Sweet Auburn district. You have to start with the civil rights movement. You have to start really with, those authentic historic Black neighborhoods and getting a sense of how Atlanta was born and the tastemakers of the city. So I always say Atlanta starts with its history. And what I love is that, you have several museums in Atlanta, but the Martin Luther King Center in the Sweet Auburn district is actually free. You know what I mean? So I always encourage people to go there because it's free history. You go there, the stories are laid out well. The museum is still run by Dr. King's daughter, Bernice King. That's a great place to start, and it costs you nothing.
Okay, which one is this? This is the house. This is the museum.
You have the house, which is not open,
Yeah.
but a lot of people, you can walk around it and take pictures and such, but it's right down the street from the house in the same area.
Okay, because I feel like I went to the house. I wasn't able to go inside. And I've been to, are you talking about like the civil rights one? Is that the same one or is that a different one?
No, it's a different one. So there's a newer one, which is the Civil Rights Museum, Coca-Cola complex with like right. That's the new one. But there's one that's been here since I was in elementary school. And it's the King Center, the first King Center.
Okay, yeah. I've been
where the grave is. And that's where you want to go.
King Center. Okay, yes. Because there is two. Yeah, I would say the King Center is where you want to go. That one's like on by Auburn and all that stuff. There's one by Coca-Cola. That's like the bigger one. That's like by Coca-Cola.
There's in that complex, the aquarium. There's Coke and the Civil Rights Museum, and that's ticketed. There's a cost, and that's a beautiful museum as well. But I think for those, when they're like, oh, what can I do? I'm like, well, that's, something free right there that you go to.
For that. I don't know though. But I just remember when I came during spring break, I was in the church that he did his that he preached at and went downstairs.
Ebenezer.
Impersonating. Yeah, Ebenezer, and they was impersonating him. There was a minister that was impersonating him. I guess I don't do that much anymore because of COVID and stuff like that. I don't really know. If they do that as much anymore, like if it's open as much with
yes, I think you can schedule a tour for Ebenezer because now is primarily a museum. They used to have the King service in there every year, but now they have the newer one across the street, and that's where most of their services take place today.
Okay, yes, I do know what you're talking about. So you want to say start off with the history, start off with Martin Luther King Jr. Like, okay, yes, definitely. So then after you do the history, that's the culture, that's the piece that you get to know about your history. Then where would you go to next?
And then after that, I think I'll be remiss if I, didn't say that you next got to go eat something. So I think I think it's really important to try out some of the restaurants. What I love about Atlanta is that there's this whole food hall movement. So I always feel like for people who are here for the weekend, that's the best place to start, because then that way you get to sample a little bit of everything. And a lot of the food stalls that exist within food halls, they are basically smaller samplings of a larger restaurant. So you have some stalls within food halls, they may have a larger restaurant somewhere else. You see what I mean? And then they give a more condensed, a more condensed menu for the food hall. But I think that's a great place to go because it's a more inexpensive route. It's more cost efficient. You get to try different things, and then it's very fun to do with a group.
Oh, okay. Where's the food hall located at? Or is it just different ones?
There are different ones. I'll tell you, the most popular ones are Chattahoochee Food Works. That's one of the new ones.
Okay.
That's come up with the Chattahoochee Food Works. Also Politan Road, Colony Square. That's another one that's come up within the past 2 years. And then some of the more established ones, I would say, is Ponce City Market and Krog Street.
Oh, okay. Those are called food halls. I didn't know that. I see what you're saying. I've been to Krog Street and I've been to Ponce City Market. Ponce City Market, their food is okay. Depending though, but I've had pizza there, so I like their pizza spot there. And then Krog Street, did I try some barbecue? But okay, it's kind of like cafeteria instead of. I was like, what's a food hall? But I see what you're saying now. Krog Street has free parking lot. That's a plus. You got to pay for it. So I just want to let y'all know, okay, before y'all go there,
you got to pay, and depending on the time of day, you may be looking for a second. The parking is definitely a bit more difficult at Ponce, depending on the.
Don't say at least didn't warn you, okay? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's cool. So food hall. I want to try the Chattahoochee one. I want to try that one
Mhm.
day.
And that's free parking at Chattahoochee.
Oh, I'm definitely in there. Let me go with you. Let me write that one down, baby. Okay, because I'm all about the free parking. Okay, so you go get your history, get your food, because you can work up an appetite, and then you eat your food. But if you're at Pond City Market, the cool thing about this, like you can walk around, you can shop, you can go and do different activities. Even Krog Street, like you can go walk because that's like by the belt line. I'm giving away
Exactly.
information. That's like the belt line. You can go get ice cream, you can walk the belt line
Mhm.
and do stuff like that. So if you wanted to even stay at those areas a little bit longer, you can just like walk and just like chill and just like see the city itself.
Exactly. And that's what I was about to say. And after that, I would definitely recommend the Beltline. I think that's a great way to walk through the city, especially in the spring or summertime with this nice weather. I always recommend that. Walk in the Beltline. Again, there are still some restaurants and bars along the Beltline that you can visit. But I always think that's a something fun for people to do too, especially if they have a short visit.
And it's free.
And it's free. Right. It is
Okay.
important to highlight the free. I agree.
It is definitely free now. When you go to the bars and the restaurants, them ain't free, but the walking is free.
The walking is free. Right.
Yes, that is
And pet
cool
friendly.
though.
And pet
Yeah.
friendly.
Oh yeah, it is. It is really pet friendly. And it's like you can skate, you can ride your bike and stuff like that too. People
Right.
be running, they be doing a whole bunch on that belt line. So yeah, that is a cool thing. It's really kind of weird to me. All right, I figure it's like Ponce City Market, then it's like the belt line. It's like right by the belt line, right? Or no, that's
Mhm.
Krog. But it's like then it's like Krog Street or something like that.
No, they're both along the belt line.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So it's just like all like all together in a way. So yeah, thought that was interesting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So okay, yeah. So you do the belt line, you hang with your friends. Do you feel like Atlanta is a good like solo tripper, or do you for a solo traveler, or do you feel like it's better as a girls trip?
I think either or. I think either or. Also, I think it depends on the season. I'm going to say in the spring and fall, or actually, I'm going to stick with the spring. The spring, I think, is great for groups and friends because when the whole city's been hibernating, trying to get through these winters and sometimes fake winters, we don't know how the weather's going to be every week. So people are always eager, you know, for the patio rooftop season. And I think
Mhm.
there's no better way to experience that than with a girlfriend or a group of friends. And so people come out. Like I love that culture in Atlanta. People love a rooftop. They love a patio. They love a terrace. So in the spring, early summer, I think it's definitely best to come with friends. I think in the fall and in the summer, look, so in August, I'm not trying to be outside all day. So it's it's already hot then being with people. I don't know. That's maybe the better time to, do it solo. And then also in the fall, because that's when, everyone's coming back into town, things are opening back up, museums are talking about new exhibits and you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And then you have a couple of maybe like concerts and things just to kind of end out the summer
Mhm.
and open up the fall. But I think the fall is a really nice time to be here alone and kind of exploring your own.
Okay, that's interesting. I was just wondering, some places are good, some places are bad. Well, I guess all places are good for solo travel, but like someone's like, okay, let me go with my girls. Like it was always like, girl trip to Atlanta, like whatever. So that's why I was just
Mhm.
about that. And are you team Airbnb or team hotel when it comes to traveling?
Uh, I think it depends on what kind of trip. That's a good one. That's a good one. I think cost wise, I'm team Airbnb because I love the idea for a longer. You know what? That's the best way for me to put it. For a longer trip, meaning longer than a weekend, I'm team Airbnb
Mm.
because you can save money with breakfast and such, and kind of cook some things on your own. But if it's a weekend trip, I'm definitely team hotel. I'm not trying, someone come clean my room, let me,
Let me
you know what
just
I
go.
mean?
Let me just go.
I'm just trying to in and out go. So I'm okay with that.
I like that. So with that, the guide and everything like that with the girls, where do you think where should the girls go for a great, maybe like they want to be wined and dine, they want to like go on like a date or something like that. Like where should they go if they in the city for a great date night?
Oh, in the city for a great date night. I would say, you know what, there are a couple of places I think of, especially when it comes to, I almost want to say nightcap. There are some great restaurants, but what I think Atlanta really has at the moment are these great places to go after your date. And so, and you can still get something, for a date. You can make it a date night, whatever you want. But like I love, for example, in the city, JoJo's Beloved at Colony Square, which is like a new retro speakeasy, but it has like these velvet sectionals and like really elevated cocktails. It's intimate. Also a place that we were just at, like I don't know if you've ever been to the Social House when they have like music nights and such, but that is just such a vibe to be in the city and there's music. It's never like 200 people shoulder to shoulder. You see what I mean? It really gives me like a Love Jones vibe, when it's like during the week with like cocktails, and they even have like appetizers and stuff. But I love spaces like that are just intimate, not too crowded. And then you have the right kind of crowd, grown, and sexy crowd in there.
Okay.
Right. So those are two really nice places to go. Also, I would have to say in terms of some places that everyone loved, just some more popular, and I would say probably touristy places too, depending on the season, but they're like Canoe Restaurant. I think about places that are great for the season. Like Canoe it's like right along the Chattahoochee. And so you can go there, have dinner, but in the spring and summer, people are outside, and their outside area is really top notch. It's really top notch.
Okay. What's your favorite season to do stuff in Atlanta?
Oh, definitely spring and fall.
Okay.
As you can tell.
I know. I always get on that vibe. I'm like, let me ask. She ain't say summer, winter.
Well,
Like,
I don't do it with Atlanta.
Okay.
Spring, because spring also opens up festival season, patios are open, like I said, and then the fall because it's the cool down. Because after August in the South and Jennifer in Atlanta, it's a mess. So I'm the one. I'm ready for September.
I feel like
October.
July was hot. Oh, July was.
It starts. I agree.
I was like, But yeah, I like that they have festivals. It's so sad because like now with the pandemic and stuff like that, like they don't do festivals. Ours coming back, but it's not as much because Atlanta was not closing. Okay, they was not closing their doors at all. Here's a main question: budget. How much do you feel like people should budget to come to Atlanta to stay for a weekend? Or maybe like a 3-day weekend, or maybe like a week? Like, how much do you think people should budget to come down?
I think a good budget, if you were coming for the weekend, meaning you got here Friday night and then you left maybe right after lunch or brunch, I think $500 is good. And to me, that doesn't include, that's without night out, nightlife. I was about to say that's without the nightlife. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with the hotel and everything.
You mean with the hotel?
Oh yeah, I didn't know like what you are all including. So $500 for like the breakfast, lunch, dinner.
That's for your food. That's for your, Ubers. If you're staying in town, like I don't want to drive. I just want to, call an Uber or Lyft. And that's if I want to, get a cocktail somewhere. I think that's an appropriate budget. That does not include nightlife, and it does not include hotel. Now, if you're talking about hotel in Atlanta, I would definitely budget about, as in somewhere you want to be in the city. I think about 220, 200, I could say you 200 a night, 200, 220 a night will get you somewhere that you want to be, meaning in a good location, so you can either just walk or, or you're not taking lifts, for 10 miles or something. So yeah. And you can find some really good deals with hotels, and then now Atlanta has this influx of boutique hotels that have popped up, and that's going to be on the higher end, maybe like 250 plus. But that gives a whole nother vibe if you're, into that. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
boutique,
I
the
do.
stylish fashion for it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I would say.
Yes, I was neutral. So then about like 800, more like 900.
Nah, right. And that's total. And then that's total. But then also that's split with, 2 to 4 people, then that comes down.
Yeah, with the
Mhm.
hotel part. But yeah, okay, because Atlanta is not as cheap as people think it is and what people make it seem. And I'll be like, Atlanta is expensive.
Yes, it can get expensive. It can get expensive because I think when people see like I said, I love the rooftop restaurants and such, but it's a difference between, there are ways that you got to know how to budget, and the tricks of the trade. Like, so a lot of these places, like if you see a particular high-end restaurant or something, and you're like, oh, I really want to go there, I always advise people go there for lunch or brunch, because you're going to get a menu, a cheaper menu, and you still get to dine at this wonderful establishment for half the price. So I always do that. If you see somewhere you want to go and it's like the entrees are 60 plus, go at lunch, or go
Woo!
for breakfast
I'll
or
have to
go for
close
brunch.
that and be like, catch you never.
So that's what you want to do. And then, but if you're trying to go to a lot of places everywhere in Atlanta, I always say at night, especially on Fridays and Saturdays, yeah, it's a premium. It's a premium for the parking, for the valet, for the dinner. And now with the
Everything. I'll be like,
pandemic,
who?
people
Might as
will
well
even
stay
just
up.
add on 18%, so yeah. So I think there's a difference between the nightlife, dining out at night versus lunch or brunch time.
That is a good tip. You got to catch the happy hours, the times that people are not going out. Okay. I like that one. That is good though. That's a really great tip. Cause stuff just be expensive for real. You be like, what? For no reason. They just be taxing, and don't let them play because they do be adding that on. And they like, oh, you got a party at 5. Okay, we're adding gratuity on there. Be like,
Right, right.
dang. And I don't like that because then the servers can act anyhow way they want to, and then you gotta tip them no matter what. I don't like that, but this isn't a wild
Mhm.
Atlanta video. So I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, do you feel like there's anything else that people should know why they should come to the city of Atlanta? Or you have any tips or anything that's coming up that I guess people should know about?
I think the main thing that people should know about is the spring is upon us. This is a good time to come and check out the city. People have, like, the festival schedules have been released. April 4th is going to be 404 Day. There's so many
Mm.
ATL theme festivals, music festivals, a lot of outdoor festivals coming up. Also, something that I'm a huge fan of, farmers market season is coming out. So I always think that's a great place in terms of something, especially if you're on a budget traveling and something inexpensive. On the weekends, it's like the best time to visit local farmers markets because people are cooking there. They're selling local cheeses and produce, and sometimes meals. Sometimes restaurants come out and they have tables at farmers market, so you can get a little sampling. That's a great place to explore if you're a foodie.
Okay. Yes, one time for the foodies. I heard Atlanta ain't have good food though, but y'all didn't hear that from me.
We did hear from you. Don't be spreading that. You just don't know where to go.
Yeah, because everything is overhyped on Instagram. But that's what I say. See, Instagram got a different perception for.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say earlier because I do talk to some locals who are born and raised. They be like, we don't go there, we don't go there. But then I'm like, well, can the locals tell people where to go? Because we just seen it all on Instagram, and those places are just aesthetically pleasing. I don't want aesthetically.
Right, right. But you know what? But you know where a good place, like a good place to get like an honest review of places to go?
Where?
Black Girls Guide to Atlanta.
Period. Okay. Plug yourself. Okay. Yes. I definitely been following you. Now I don't know how long I've been following you because you said it started in October 2020. So that's really interesting to me. I don't know when I started following you. I don't even know how I found you. But regardless, we're here. And I'm glad that you joined the episode and share people how to, navigate Atlanta, because some people don't know how to do it and they don't know where to go. They don't really know what's popping. And that's the thing too, is really annoying, because it's like, okay, I see everything on Instagram, but it's like, I really want to know, like, what do locals do? Like, where can I go? Like, I don't always want to be where the crowd is, because if you see on Instagram, you be like, well, all they do is smoke hookah and party. And it's like,
Right.
there's more
Right.
to do than just that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
yes, I'm just like, oh, okay, let me help the people out. But yes, thank you so much for being a part of the episode. So that's your Instagram is Black Girls Got Atlanta. Are you on Twitter or anything else like that, or just Instagram?
I am on TikTok as Black Girls Guide ATL as well. And it's the same handle across all social media platforms. So people can find me on Facebook as well. And then on Twitter, I am Nita Shanita. So I'm on Twitter as well, but predominantly TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, you'll find me.
Okay, that's cool. And the last question I have to ask: do you ever see yourself leaving Atlanta?
No. Also I say that because before, like in between being like born and raised here in school, I did leave for a while. Like I lived in New Orleans, I lived abroad, I lived in South Carolina. So coming back to Atlanta, it is because I have been other places. So I'm comfortable now in saying, okay, this can be my permanent residence.
Oh, I want to live in New Orleans, but Lord rest the souls of the hurricanes. I can't deal with that. Where did you move abroad to?
I lived in France. I was in the Loire Valley, kind of western France.
Oh, that is so cool. Okay, you need to come back another time to talk about the other travels. Okay, this was for Atlanta. So y'all tell her to come back if y'all interested in the other stories. But yeah, okay, that's cool. Like some people are like born and raised and they just like they love Atlanta. So I was just wondering like what you're doing for the culture is so good and people can see it and stuff like that. And so that's why I was really asking that. Do you feel like you would want to take the trajectory of like taking your brand to the next level, or do you like having it how you do it now? Are you wanting a Black Girl's Guide to go like
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love that in terms of long-term vision. I think that would be cool to have, Black Girls Guide DC. You know what I mean? To have different arms and that different reach. I would love for it to go there.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. Well, if y'all are not following her, if y'all did not know who she was, follow her at a Black Girls Guide ATL to get your fix, to figure out what to do when you come to the city. And if y'all are not following me, follow me on Instagram at Alicia's Adventures, ALIESHIAS. And these episodes are bi-weekly, and you can follow us on Instagram. The podcast is called Bon Voyage, the podcast. And I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about Atlanta. Hope you got to learn a little bit more about Black Girls Guide to Atlanta as well. Share this with your friends who are going to Atlanta to visit or even to move and stuff like that. Just so they can know stuff before they get here. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all like this, make sure y'all rate us, make sure y'all comment and share it with a friend. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. Okay. See you all next week or in 2 weeks.